Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 14 minutes past the hour on this 24th day of December, better known around the world for those who celebrate the occasion, Christmas Eve. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building, broadcasting live on hashtag Truth Be Told JD Live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter, X, all at the JDMS, and on YouTube, we are at 100 BLK. Good morning, family. How are you doing on this Christmas Eve? Those of you out there who are on the hustle, the bustle, the grind, let me ring the bell for you. I know working on Christmas Eve ain't the most fun. I saw Sean P. He was in the green room. Eventually, he got to come back, but I'm never in here by myself. I have the reading is fundamental. Lamar Burton, poet extraordinaire. You know him from the Sean P. Experience, the Griot podcast. Y'all put your hands together. My brother from another mother. Happy Christmas Eve. Sean P. is in the building. What up, Sean P.?
Come on, man. Happy Christmas Eve to you and yours, man. To the audience watching this, man. Happy Christmas Eve to all. I hope that everybody is able to have a little time to enjoy themselves, slow it down, downshift, reflect, and just have some joy, man. How about that? Some simplicity, Joe. Joy. Three
What you,
letters.
what you
Let's
just
think about joy today, Joe. How about some joy talk?
that let's do that. Let's do that. 15 minutes past the hour. Family, we are headed toward the end of 2025. I don't know about you, but 2025 was literally a blur to me. It literally came and went so quickly. So much had occurred. I still reflect that on last year, not even a year ago, because on last year, on New Year's Eve, I was at the Riverside Hotel in New Orleans with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as they were getting ready to play in the Sugar Bowl on January the 1st. I was there with my better half, and we were going to bring in New Year's in New Orleans with the fireworks and the festivities. Mainly because we were a little bit disappointed the year before that. We had went to Baton Rouge and the fireworks were very mundane. They were very simple, didn't even last 2 minutes in my opinion. But we went to see some great fireworks and bring in 2025 uh, with a celebratory glee because I had a lot going on that year. Had a lot going on at the beginning of last year, as I do at the beginning of this year. But not knowing that you have to appreciate every moment of life because not knowing 5 blocks, because the Riverside Hilton is literally 5 blocks from Bourbon Street. Did not know after those celebratory old lang syne and all those things that one said to one another and friends and hugging folks and laughing that there would be a terrorist attack if 14 people would lose their lives in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, literally hours after 5 blocks away. I saw fireworks go off, and I was, so celebratory and so anxious for 2025. And now 2025 is almost in my rearview mirror. Family,
Um,
go ahead, Sean.
no, I love to always try to set the stage for those that's watching this internationally, nationally. For
Right.
those that have never been to New Orleans, Joe, could you try to, in your ability, explain to the people, even
I
whenever it's
can.
not
I
whenever it's
can.
not pandemonium, just navigating the streets of New Orleans at night when it's crowded and a lot going on. Like I just did this past weekend. Me and my wife trying to hold each other, trying to dip and dive, and we trying to. So imagine some chaos happening. Everybody pandemonium, stampeding, is screaming. Like imagine the chaos. Is my point.
I can describe New Orleans especially for my international folks. I tell people New Orleans because I've been there. New Orleans is a lot like Munich, Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, Paris, France, London, England, Barcelona, Spain. At night, Berlin. Berlin. Something's always happening in New Orleans. Since all the places I just named, I've actually been there for nightlife or been there during a season of celebration. That is New Orleans. If you were one of the army guys or who was ever stationed in Nuremberg or in K Town, there were certain festivals and celebrations. People were always in the streets. Sometime until 12, uh, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. You could come out the club at 2 in the morning and the streets would be crowded. That's New Orleans. That's New Orleans literally 24/7, 365. Something always going on. And yes, on a celebration like bringing out one year and bringing into a new year, there's people everywhere. It was very Mardi Gras-ish for those of you who have been to New Orleans and celebrated Mardi Gras. We just had a big celebration with the Sugar Bowl parade. And I forgot who Notre Dame played in the Sugar Bowl. I'm trying to remember. Was it Georgia? Yeah, who did Notre Dame play in the Sugar Bowl last year? I forgot who they played in the Sugar Bowl, but I was in the hotel with the Fighting Irish. Forgot who they played. No, it wasn't. No, it was Texas. It was TCU. It was Notre Dame and TCU. I believe it was Notre Dame and TCU. I'm not 100% sure. Know that. I took a picture. Um, and that's how time moves. You get a little forget.
You know what's something about wisdom and age? It's funny, Joe. It's real funny. I just made 44, right? But
Okay.
like lately in the past few months, whenever we go out, our
Uh-huh.
objective is a kind of an unsaid thing. We're trying to get back in the house before like 11:30. We're not trying to be out past midnight. So, Joe, we're in New Orleans. To explain this, we're in the French market, right? The French market closed officially at like 6 o'clock. We're out there at 4:20, 4:30, and Joe, the vendors are packing up. They packing up their stuff. They getting everything together. We kind of like, damn, they leaving early. But then we thought about it. Time changed. It get dark faster. They trying to beat the sun going down. So we peeping in real time, like, oh, because the atmosphere changed when it get dark, Joe. We were literally out there on the street seeing it, trying to get back to the hotel. Like, man, let's get out of here. Let's go. They put a little pep in our step. They ain't trying to lie to gag around. It's time to get moving because we trying to get out the way. Hey Joe, you sound. Yeah, we trying to get out the way. We trying to move and groove, man. But on a serious note about like safety and awareness, and it's a lot of things happening, man. So like whenever I was younger, even 10 years younger, of course I'm out. You leave the house at midnight. You go into the venue at 1 in the morning. You just getting to the spot when it get real late. But now I see why people that were older than me, they trying to be in the house before midnight. They trying to go out on a Sunday instead of a Saturday. Like, you trying to avoid certain elements, you know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy witnessing that at this point in my life and seeing it in real time, recognizing like that's why they leave it earlier than normal because they're trying to get out the way, man. Because as Joe was saying before he had to dip out real fast, there's so many elements out there, man, and things happen so fast. You don't want to have yourself in a position where you feel like, man, I could have left a little bit earlier and I wouldn't have been out there. I'm trying to be preventative, not having a regret, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always as the guy in the situation, I'm trying to avoid all things at all costs, man. So, it's just one of those things that you gotta make better choices, man, as you get older. And it's sad to say that because honestly, we should all be able to be out till 4, 5 in the morning just fine. We should all be able to go to any venue, any street, any block just fine. But unfortunately, that's not the reality that we're living in right now. So when you out at certain times, man, you allow yourself to be around certain elements. You know what I'm saying? So that's just, a little tidbit that I realized being out. I see Joe, my man Joe, back on the big screen. Yes, sir. Man, that's crazy. I don't know what that is. That's crazy. No. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I muted my mic. My bad. Now,
There you
now,
go. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
I don't
I
know
was
what
like,
that
wait a
was.
minute. I know
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah. But no,
It was
but while you were doing that, I
user
was
error.
only yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I was only saying that as you get older, you realize like when I was younger, Joe, I didn't realize why is there a 21 and up club, but they got a 25 and up club. Oh, we all grown, and then they got an older club to that. And Joe, they got a different dress code per club.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wear jeans over here. I can't wear tennis shoes. I gotta wear a collar shirt. I gotta wear hard bottom shoes. I gotta wear slacks. But now I realize a different mentality coming with dressing different. I'm gonna act different when I'm dressed. I'm suited and booted. I let Joe slide stepping on my foot, man. Go ahead. It's all good, player. But in tennis shoes and sweats, I might want to square up on Joe. You know what I'm
So,
saying?
Sean, let me say this the best way I can say it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's different levels. That's why people don't want to tell you in life and in circles that you hang in, there's different levels. There's certain circles you hang in, the conversation is different, the dress code is different, the mentality is different, the objective is different. There are certain parties that you go to, you know it's going to be a party. There are certain parties that they're going to play some music and you're going to be like, I see why ain't nobody dancing. But it ain't a dancing party. It ain't that type of party.
Yo,
During the holiday season, you got to read the room you in and know what room you in so you can act yourself accordingly.
I got some sad news to report, man. I'm an 80s, 90s baby, right? I love hip hop. Hip hop head. Old school head. I will not go to a hip hop concert. I won't. I will not put myself in the atmosphere of what normally happens at a hip hop. Now, neo soul, R&B, this all Jagged Edge, smooth. Hip hop, I'm not going, Joe.
So, Sean, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this before I graduate in 2027. You and I, with the permissions of both of our better halves, will together go to a hip hop concert. And I promise, when you go to a hip hop concert with me, but we ain't going to your youngster hip hop concert. So let me give you why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I too, it's hard for me to go to the new hip hop concert. It's hard for me to go see NBA YoungBoy. It's hard for me to go. First of all,
I'm just not.
I have been invited to some very prominent new rappers concerts, but it's hard for me to go to an NBA YoungBoy concert. However, the last rap concert I went to, and outside of a festival, because as you know, I'm at a festival every year, and at that festival, there are humongous names. Like the last festival I was at, Nas performed at the Essence Music Festival of Culture. So I got to see Nas on the stage, got to hang with him backstage. That's why I say you got to go to a concert with me because we ain't just going to go like regular folk. But the last concert I went to that I had the privilege of being in the crowd, I was actually in the front of the crowd and backstage, was the lyricist Rakim. And that was a hip hop concert.
Now, see, as you're saying, they got levels and classes, right? You just displayed it.
Come on.
A Nas or a Rakim or a Common, Talib Kweli, The Root, these kind of, they call it backpack rappers. That's a whole different crowd coming out to that versus Joe. But one of my only hip hop shows, I saw Lil Wayne in Lafayette at the Cajun Dome.
Okay.
Before he went to jail.
Okay.
Boy, did I regret going to that show, Joe. When I said the melees that broke out, people fighting in the stand, falling down the stairs. I mean, it was a melee. And again, you're a guy not just there for your own safety. If you're there with a lady,
right,
you feel like, why did I put you in this situation?
Now,
myself, why I got my lady in this?
Now, if I had the alumnus Fatim Muhammad on here from WBLS, the Open Line Online, Fatim and I, and you're right, it is even at the festival. Fatim and I was at the Essence Musical Festival together, and Cash Money had a reunion, and Lil Wayne came out. And sure enough, though we didn't see a fight, there was definitely heightened tension. We saw a very robust, argumentative situation that could have quickly changed into fisticuffs. But once again, the reason I say that is I'm gleefully waiting because I had got an email uh either coming up in the summer or going toward the fall. I know that at the House of Blues in New Orleans, there may be a concert that's kind of it's going to be open, but there's going to be a closed session. It's going to be with Chuck D. And
Bet,
if that
bet,
and
bet.
if that happens,
Yes, yes.
all I can
Please,
tell you is me and
please,
you
yes,
gonna be there
please,
together, and we're
no,
gonna be there VIP together, and I'm
yes,
gonna be like, Bass, how low can you go? Death
yes,
Row, what a
yes,
brother, no, once again, back is the incredible Rhyme Metaphor.
yes, yes.
I
No,
listen.
no. I see that in January, like maybe the 14th or so, they're going to have the Jizza from the Wu-Tang Clan in New
Oh yeah,
Orleans.
oh
I
yeah.
would love to go and see the Jizza. I love the Jizza. Incredibly brilliant. Matter of fact, you know what, Joe? I don't want to misspeak. I think he is teaching quantum physics or something at a collegiate level.
So
He is a
okay.
brilliant brother. I would
So
love seeing him.
let
I would go
once
there.
again, let me let a cat out the bag here. A lot of folks don't know the jewel you are, Sean. Sean has been an adjunct professor at some major universities. I'm not going to name them. I'm not a name dropper, but I'm just going to tell you what he has done. He has been an adjunct professor. I have never, in all my travels and all my doings and everything, been an adjunct professor. Now I have gotten now
It's
the
coming. It's
opportunity.
coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Well, I don't know if I really want to do that, John, because I'm discovering. Because yesterday I got my first email to do a lecture. Now a lot of people like you who are educated and understand there's a difference from being an adjunct professor and giving a lecture. When you are a
Yeah.
lecturer,
Yes.
you can kind of freestyle and go off the cuff because they're there literally to understand because you are one who have been through the fire and have operated in said area of being degreed. A lot of folks don't understand this. There are folks who get degrees and have never one day worked a degree. Prime example. I know people who have mass communications degree who have never worked in radio, TV, or broadcasting. And let's be real about something. And I'm going to say this, and it's not in an ugly way. I applaud everybody who choose the path to get a degree that they choose. But a lot of folks out there, believe it or not, have just what we call general studies degrees. They don't have degrees that are specific to any type of area. And I applaud everybody who goes to get a degree. But a lot of folks out there, they don't have specialized degrees. They don't have degrees in business, in science, in biology. A lot of folks, especially these days, because to get a job sometime on the next level, you have to have some type of degree. You have to have an associate's. You
Yeah,
have to have
the minimal requirements. Yeah.
right. You have to have associates, a bachelor's, a master's, and some people just go into a general studies areas. Believe it or not, I was talking to one of my professors, and he was like, even at the master's level, he said a lot of MBAs are just basic general studies. He said you can basically get an MBA that just says, "Listen, I'm getting an MBA in." He said, believe it or not, to him, an MBA in business is somewhat like a MBA in general studies because he said basically what they're teaching you is how to manage everyday life or manage a business or MBA in leadership, as he would say. That's just basically saying this is how you manage people if they're people underneath you. So when people go ahead, brother.
No, I was going to only interject. I think that was one of my advantages teaching psychology at the college level because I was literally already working with clients, already have worked in psych wards and hospitals. So we reading the book, right, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
I put the book down after reading a certain paragraph, like, look, in the actual hospital, this thing actually happened. This is how this actually went. So I was able to bring in my real experiences to the page, not just reading the book and go over the
Right.
little questions and go over like, no, let's talk about how this really go. The book
Right.
saying this, put that down. This is how this really happened. In a courtroom, when I have a child client and the judge is reading my documentation, because my notes can be used in court.
So
And I've experienced that before.
So
That's getting real.
this one of the reasons I was running a little late this morning, I get a phone call this morning, early this morning, early, because it is 34 minutes past 6 Central Time where I'm at. So I get a call early this morning because I am one of the certified thinking for a change instructors in the United States of America, who is certified by by the National Institution of Corrections. Okay. So when some people, when you get incarcerated, the mantra of incarceration is not just to imprison you, but to reform you. Excuse me. And in the reforming part of it, there is classes. One of the classes is Thinking for a Change, a very nationally known, notarized class where individuals go through the process of how did I get here? Me coming to right standings of why I'm here and what must I do to break this cycle, to stop getting here. Because understand, everybody, including those who are incarcerated behind physical bars and those who are mentally incarcerated, you know this because you was a psych professor. There is a cycle you have got in that you can't break. And guess what? A lot of y'all, what is abnormal has become normal. And you literally like a mouse running on a wheel thinking that you think you moving forward in your abnormality, which all you doing is, like I say, the rocking chair syndrome or the rocking horse syndrome. You doing a lot, but you ain't moving. You ain't going nowhere. So I get a call and, the guy's talking to me and he says, he said, I talked to one of your professors and I know that what you're doing, but would you be willing to, via video, give a class? Because I saw the way you taught the class. I saw the way you give the presentation. And bruh, that is so effective. And I tried it. Now, here's what blessed me. He said, I tried to do the same thing you did in a classroom and I failed terribly. And I asked him, I said, really? He said, man, I tried to do exactly how you did. He said, and I failed terribly. I said, you know what I've come to discover? You cannot try to duplicate a thing and not have the heart of the of the thing, or some things just can't be duplicated.
But Joe, prior to that moment, I don't want to misspeak the number. You correct me as I'm saying this. You got like 30-something years in a professional radio game, right? 30-something years on these airwaves, microphone, professional voice on multiple things. You do actual sport commentary,
Right.
All so you bring all of that to the game. You in any kind of setting, like oratory skills,
right?
You got 3,000.
It wasn't so much that. Because watch this. I talked to one. So he had one of the inmates there because one of the inmates was kind enough to tell him, look, man, don't teach this class again. You're going to lose us. So the inmate had the class with me in another incarcerated situation. A lot of folks don't know. You may be an inmate in one institution. They may move you to another institution. So this inmate actually brought me up, and that's how I get in contact with the guy. So I told the guy, I said, okay, I'll come and talk to the incarcerated group of guys. And we settled up on how I needed to do it. But I said, listen, understand, I said, saying what I said sounds good. But I said, some things you have to live through. So I then discovered that at the time I went through certain things in my life, be it good, bad, or ugly, I did not know that God was setting me up for the purpose of using that one day to be a blessing to somebody else. So I say that 38 minutes past the hour because the holidays, Sean, ain't gonna be happy for everybody. I have a nephew. His name is Ryan Jr. Jackson Jr., named after his father. My younger brother, who is no longer with us. My younger brother is on the other side with the ancestor. Was a awesome police officer in Memphis, Tennessee, well known in Shelby County, was a canine officer, worked in tactical narcotics. I jokingly called my younger brother Mike Lowry. The times we had good communications, which was seldom, because his mother was the mother that abandoned me. And once again, I'm the middle child, so we never figured it out. I figured it out somewhat, and I don't know if my figuring out was all true. But my oldest brother, she kept. My youngest brother, she kept. She abandoned me, and that had a lot to do, folks said, with how her mother allowed the men in her life to go through her daughters. And look, I'm not trying. I can air my dirty laundry. Nobody else can, talk about my mama, but I can. So when my younger brother went to glory, I saw the hurt that it left on his daughter, who is now a nurse, who is now a super duper nurse. She might even be going to be a physician's assistant. So she is wonderful. Reagan is a beautiful. My niece is beautiful, but he has a son named Ryan Jr. Now, Ryan has always been challenged in life, autistically challenged, but he is not autistically challenged that he is mute, but he is highly intelligent in his autism, almost savantish, almost savantish. He will do some stuff that if you ever watch the movie K-Pax, he'll do some old K-Pax type stuff, and you'll be like, wow. And I know how much he misses his father, because even though he literally just met me during the time of his father's crossing over, which was not too many years ago, he'll call me because he knows I'm the only remnants of his father left. And he will call me and listen with a childlike persistence. He will talk to me in such love. Love that it's hard for me to feel from anybody else. It's a genuine love, and I don't know if it's because of the autism, but I know it ain't no play. He will call me and be like, Uncle Joe, I just called to tell you I did such and such. Like, he loves to lift weights. Like I said, the autism is strange because he's autistic, but he's not where you watch him and be like, oh, he's savantish. You got to look up the word savant. I can't really go through what a savant is right now, but it's beautiful because in that, and I don't want to call it whatever it is, because it's really, to me, not a taking away from. To be exact, because he is the way it is, it really, to me, adds to his being genuine and authentic. So when he calls me, no matter where I'm at, I could be on a crime scene, I could be in church, I can be wherever on this planet. I always take his call because I know whatever comes out of his mouth is going to be pure and genuine. And he's always on point. And whatever he says, he'll say little things, and he'll go into his, what I call that road of autism he's on. He'll tell me this, and I'll be like, hey man, I'm just happy to hear your voice. And he goes, no, I'm happy to hear yours. And guess what that means to me right there? That I can't talk to my daddy. You the only part of my daddy I got left that I can talk to. That's why I always pick up the phone. Because you never know what folk need from you. And sometimes you negate it because some of us want to be so extra special. I'm not extra special. I'm just a remnant of a bloodline that this boy seeks to be connected to. I'm telling y'all right now, at 42 minutes past the hour, some of y'all need to just speak to some folks in your family that you ain't spoke to in a long time. If it's nothing more than hello, because hello is for everybody. Hello is for everybody. Sean, too many times, and I was very upset not too very long ago because a prominent political figure walked into a room and didn't speak to me. Hello is for everybody. I don't know about y'all. It is Christmas Eve. For those of you who celebrate Christmas Eve, and listen, I hate to tell you this, I have started really getting some different philosophies about some of these holidays, because if I really read this book called the Bible and I follow the historical parameters of the travels of the one they call Yahshua, we got his birth date all messed up when it comes down to how we celebrate this thing. But hey, it is what it is. We've been doing what we've been doing. And I'm not here to try to change anybody's mind, because if y'all come after me, like all of a sudden, like I'm one of these Willie Boo Boos or Growly Gus's that Erica Kurt's talking about, let me tell you something. Y'all done let some of these evangelicals lull y'all into being mundane and being Motisa Negroes. I'm not a Motisa Negro.
I wanna offer something to the family that this is a very critical moment, right? And I'm gonna say it in my closing words as well, a little bit more. But like, it's a lot of family trauma in society, bro. Like, again, me reading so many biographies and memoirs and autobiographies, so many people have some level of childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So as adults, we're trying to date people and marry people and have certain relationships, and we wonder why certain things go wrong. It might not seem connected. That person got a mother issue or a father issue, or certain things with their siblings happen that's still ongoing. You never know what's not addressed, especially in our community in particular. I don't know why we don't like to get the proper help. So therefore, hurt people. You end up bleeding on innocent people, man. You bleeding on your spouse, you bleeding on your children, and then you might make a cycle to where you got something against your siblings, right? Now,
Right.
y'all children never get along, never hang together, never cheer together. Joe, I got so many cousins in my family, I don't really know them. Because my dad, for his own religious reasons, he didn't really deal with certain sisters and brothers. So now we all got our own children. It's double digit of us. I don't really know them like that.
Right.
But now that we're grown, it's on us to pick the phone up, get past that. It's on us. Put the
Because
pride down, ego down. The phone work both ways. Hey man, look, let's meet up, get something to eat one day. Let's just kick it one day.
because
Let's figure this out. That's their trauma between them. They ain't on
right,
nothing. I ain't
right,
never did you nothing. You ain't never did
right,
me nothing.
right.
That's,
Because
that's, that's a generation ago.
you got people in your bloodline walking around here that you don't know. Like I tell you, it's one thing to live on the street and not know your next door neighbors. But how is it that you got people that got your same DNA blueprint
So
and you
let me
don't
ask you
know
a question. You travel a lot. And you older than me too, so your observation. How many times you watch a person with a family reunion t-shirt on these days? I don't see that. I don't see all that many family reunion t-shirts.
you don't.
I don't
Oh,
hear a
oh,
person at my job saying, I'm taking the weekend off because we got a family reunion. I barely and rarely hear that phrase even used in this generation. So how
John.
many folks, besides funerals and weddings and graduation, how many folks even see their people?
Now, Sean, I
Holidays
hope
right there. Folks not driving down. I mean, things expensive now. Folks not flying down and then driving down like they used to drive. So in a whole year, I'm not even seeing these people.
John, at 14 minutes to the top of the hour, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this in a loving way. I hope Lieutenant Commander Anderson is watching because he'll be like, ooh, he gave a Navy man a compliment. As well versed of travels as most naval sailors are as yourself. Different ports, different places, different shore calls for different reasons. I, too, as an Army man, have seen a lot of different Army garrisons and outposts. And I laughingly with my older son, because at the time of my life, I was very much like my biological father. See, the fruit never fall too far from the tree. Even if it rolled downhill and rolled down a couple of hills and winds up a far position from the tree, it never, fruit from the tree is much like the tree that bared the fruit. So my father had a reputation. We ain't gonna go through that. But laughingly, my son one day was in Korea. Now I was stationed in Korea maybe for about a year, maybe a year, maybe a year. It wasn't a whole year. I was literally attached to a unit, doing what I had to do, did what I had to do, and then got my little old happy tail back to home base. But during that year's time, oh, I was out in Korea a lot. So my son laughingly called me one time while he was in Korea and said, bruh, I ran into somebody who looked just like me. I told my son, be careful. I said, listen, Pops was there, and Pops can't tell you that every time Pops did what he should have did the right way. Be careful. See, sometimes we out there doing ourselves and we leave behind stuff that we ain't even checked on. because we didn't even know it was there in the first place.
And most times, how that was back then, in that particular setting, we're not getting these people phone numbers and they contact. It wasn't no social media. It wasn't no
Baby.
easy phone call as far as across the world. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Say
And
that one more. Hold it. Say it one more again, Sean. Say that one more again. You here for what?
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And where
Being st-
the nose went, where the doors closed,
hey. Because
that one would
nobody
have
knows where the nose goes when the doors close. I got to put that on a t-shirt,
yeah,
baby.
2026, you gotta have that.
Hey,
Yeah,
fam.
2026, you gotta have that.
Hey, family. I'm just saying, listen, some of us right now, listen, and I'm not trying to go there because sometimes we go down this rabbit hole and people go, boy, y'all go down these rabbit holes. 10 minutes to the top of the hour.
Yeah,
A lot of us, a
yeah,
lot of us, a lot of us on Christmas Eve, I'm just saying, get out
we
there and
have some joy, man. We have some.
hey, right. And do your ancestral DNA. Because guess
Please,
what? I
please,
did my ancestral DNA and it came back to buku folks I'm related to at the level of just being a cousin.
Joe. Can I add something on your show? This
Go
is
ahead.
we talked about. I know, of course, whenever a person meet up, you want to have your STD and everything, medical history.
Right.
Iron doubt we good. I think we need to add DNA testing to that before we get down with the get down. We need
Right.
some
Yeah.
DNA tests. We need some background because you might be related to somebody you don't realize you're related to somebody.
Right.
Because as you know, whenever you do your DNA testing, I started seeing certain names on that list. I would have never thought I'm related to those people. They're not polar doors.
That part.
But we related.
That part.
I mean, all kind of names on that tree. I'm like, wow. I went to school with these people. I could have easily dated one of these girls and thought it's not polar door. We good.
Well, I always tell my son you got to do it because I have traveled so much. See, your dad has traveled so much, and I'll be let me go ahead and say what I got to say where y'all can laugh at me. I was kind of loosey goosey for a minute there. I was like, hey, hold it. Papa was a rolling stone. Hey, wherever he laid his hat was his home. To the
Hit
point,
it, Joe.
hold it. Hold it. But let me make you laugh. Sean, let me make cause hold it. And let me just raise my hand because this happened to me some years back. And I'm still laughing about this. Sometimes when you out there being loosey-goosey, you forget who you were loosey-goosey with. So I'm actually somewhere a very dignified high tea type situation. For those of y'all who don't know what high tea is, Google that. So I was at a very dignified high tea type situation. And a very lovely lady who I said I ain't never seen her before in my life because one of my partners confronted me and said, "Who was that?" And I told him, I said, "Believe it or not, brother, I have the slightest idea. However," she says, "I should have the slightest idea. I should remember, but I don't."
Joe,
that is the most. That's
come
the
on,
most.
Joe.
Hey, bruh.
And what's not fair is the ladies, all respect. Y'all change y'all lashes, y'all change y'all brow, y'all change y'all hair, and have the audacity to say, you don't recognize me? You acting like that more, boy?
Hey,
You a whole different person. You a
hey,
transformer.
hey, right.
Boy,
Hold
that needs the eye.
hold it. But I had to be very honest. I was like, that probably came from one of my times that I was in my hit it and quit it mode, or my, hey, I'm just here for a good time, not a long time.
I don't
And I
know.
said, so it was funny because here's how I knew she really knew me. When she touched me on the shoulder, she said, "It's so good to see you again." And I was like, "Oh," I said, can you kind of refresh me on
You
I
should
said,
have said, hand me, woman.
no, I didn't do that
I
because it
went
was
there
hot.
and said, get your hands off me.
It was high tea, and if you only knew where I was at, I couldn't have a scene. A scene would have cost me a lot of money.
Yeah,
But
I
I
just
was
bet
like,
yeah.
I went like this, Sean. I said, could you refresh me on reminding me of where? And she brought up a place in 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 Belgium that I'm like, oh yeah, you know me. So she brought it up by city and area, and I was like, oh yeah, you know me. You know me. And then she was like, it's just good seeing you again. She said, and let me say the following. He said, though I hadn't heard from you in a long time, it was good seeing you back then too. And she did it in such an eloquent way, as if she was like, I just wanted to tell you, I
Yeah,
remember you. Uh, you put a smile on my face then. You're
yeah,
kind of putting a little smile on my face now. Have a good one. Cause it seems like you've grown, I've grown. Let me,
yeah.
and then one of my
That's
partners said,
that's mature. That's how it should be. It
but
was what it
then when
was when it was.
oh, y'all got to be stopped, somebody said. uh, but I was like, I looked at my partner and I said, man, I said, I don't remember. I said, I do not whatsoever remember, because he winded up having a conversation with her and she complimented me. Hey, he was such a nice man, and we kind of went out on a date, and I enjoyed myself, and I hadn't really seen him since, but that's him. I remember him, and I'm like, I don't remember her.
We got a short time. I know this. It's a whole different day's topic, but this is why, as a grown man,
Mhm.
I don't really like conversations about people number and what's their body count and all this and that. A lot of us have had what they call a whole phase. What they call
Come
it
on.
these days, whole phase.
Right.
And whenever you're in that experimental phase, you pretty much, they say, loosey goosey doing what you're doing. I won't hold that against somebody at this point in life. Now, if you're still there now, it's a whole different conversation.
Houston, we have a problem.
You did what you did. You was in college wilding. You did what you did in the military. You did what you did. You got divorced, maybe. You had a little spurt. You did what you did. Okay, no harm, no foul. I did what I did too.
Come on.
So how can I count your number against you when I did what I did in my life?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I never understood that societal dynamic like that double standard of that.
Well, hold on. It's like I always tell people, let me show you how society is, and I'm laughing. Excuse me, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. How much overtime can you give me, Sean? 10?
Yeah. I got 10. I got 10 for you.
Okay.
I
Okay,
got a
so
high
we're gonna
10
do
piece.
this real quick. Society got a lot of double standards that ain't the same. For example, watch this. Did you know legally you can get pulled over and get searched by a female officer, but you're not if you're a male. A female officer can search a male, but most male officers can't search females.
But Joe, did you know in psychology, probably not legally, but the company I work for, a few companies, I
Mhm.
could not have female clients. For legal reasons, I could not be in my vehicle with a female client or at their house.
Mhm.
But our female staff, they had boy and girl clients.
Right.
And I always felt like that's discrimination. But look how it's funny, Joe. If I go to the head office, knock on that door, come in, Sean, have a seat. What's the problem? I want some female clients. I look crazy as hell begging for female clients, like I'm
Well,
thirsty or something.
I mean,
I can never bring it up, but it always
because
is on my mind.
right, but because of the double standard, there's all kind of craziness. We'll talk about that next year when we get back on. Speaking of which, it is the 24th day of December. Not only are we counting down to the new year, we're counting down to the last episode of hashtag Truth Be Told JD Live for 2025. And
Yes,
guess
we
what?
are.
We
Yes,
won't
we
be
are.
back
We are.
in 2026
We
until
are.
it's time for the Essence Music Festival of Culture, which is the 1st of July.
Well, you know, Joe, I want to have a phone call with you about that off the air, of course. I want to talk to you about that off the air, man.
Okay.
It's been on my mind for the past couple of weeks. I think it's time for the phone call, man.
Okay,
We're
call me.
gonna see. I'll
Call
call you
me.
after this. I'll call you.
Just call me, man. Tell me what you need to tell me. Because listen, man, Lord knows I hear from the ancestors. I hear from the Holy Spirit, and I believe that it speaks to me constantly through other folks. So just call me, tell me what you got to tell me, and if what you telling me is what you want it to be, that's what. And the Most High co-signs on it. Well, not co-signs. He actually signs on it, and we
Yeah,
just say, okay,
that's the
we
only
agree.
sign. That's the only
Right,
sign.
right,
Ain't no more
right.
lines on that. The extra line.
Right. Right. So,
One line.
hey, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Listen, listen, I know there's folks traveling today. There were folks traveling yesterday. Safe travels to everybody out there.
You say,
All
man,
over
it's foggy out there right now. It's heavy,
right,
heavy
right.
fog, man. It's heavy
No
fog.
matter what the weather is where you're at. Because there are some places that the weather is inclement. There's snow, there's ice. There's other places like down here, is a lot of fog and it's hot as hell. Regardless if there is a fireside and snow outside your humble abode, or if there is sandy beaches, sunshine, and hot weather. What is it? Feliz Navidad. all that good stuff. Listen, Merry Christmas to all y'all. You know, we now 1 minute to the top of the hour. We're gonna go 10 minutes over.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir,
we
man.
just want y'all to know this. We're thankful for all of y'all.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
I'm thankful.
Yes,
I'm
we
thankful for Sean.
are.
Sean has
Man.
been Sean has been my ride or die
Yeah,
ever
man.
since I got here. You know,
That's right.
long before I was podcasting in the manner that I'm podcasting now. I used to be a radio host in the local area. Sean would come on once a week, sometimes multiple times a week, and he would talk about reading is fundamental. And here's why. We have to pass on this soon to be lost art of picking up a book and reading it. You know, that's getting to be a lost art amongst people. They actually had a thing where they said 40% of the
Hey, Joe,
population don't even read no more.
we talked about things being expensive these days. I really, really pray some parent out there bought their children some books for the holidays. Get your child some reading material. How about get a hooked on phonics program? How about get a webinar? How about get some free stuff you can get on YouTube? I pray somebody had that in their plans for their child, besides gadgets.
I pray, and if they did get them some type of gadget, I pray that they got them some type of gadget that promoted some motor skill like writing, like speaking,
Get some
like
Lego blocks, some Legos,
looking,
get some
building,
puzzles. Yeah,
listening,
get those
something
analytical skills. You know what I'm saying?
right, something that got them to the point that they were doing more. And don't get me wrong, let me I always laugh about this because even in the video gaming thing, and I laugh about that with all my drone pilots. For those of you who don't know, I am a certified FAA drone pilot. You
Boy,
know,
Joe, you are James Bond. You are certified in everything. Everything? Everything.
I'm a old
You are
Swiss
John Wick.
Army. I'm a Swiss Army knife. I tell people I'm the Black MacGyver for real. I was telling a friend of mine since I passed the 107, since I got my 107 for drones, somebody told me, man, why don't you just go ahead and get your small pilot license? And I've been thinking about that, but here's my problem with that, Sean. I see so many small planes go down. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah,
And
yes,
I'll be very honest
yes.
with you. I'm a good drone pilot. I ain't a great drone pilot. I consider myself good because out of all the drones I've flown, I may have set down 4 of them. You know, and in the drone world, folks laying down 4 drones, and they were early in my drone career, you know, because these days and times I ain't laying down no drone. You know, them drones are $3,000-$4,000. I ain't
Oh,
laying
yeah.
down no drone.
So one of my coworkers currently right now, a young guy, but a brilliant young man. He's in the Marines right now. He wants to be the helicopter pilot and whatnot. He does that. So every time I see a crash online or something, we talk about it extensively. Like, what do you think happened and how that happened? What you think we talk about it? It's been a lot of crashes this year in particular. 2025, it's been a crazy number of crashes, bro, of all kinds.
Oh yeah.
Can't explain the science as to why that is. But anyway,
So I see that Dana said that as an educator, she bought her girl some books. We want to give you the bell and the horn for that and the round of applause. Listen, family, listen. And another thing I think we need to do, because we only got 8 minutes and we're getting out of here for real, for real. Um, tell your children about from whence they came. It saddens me how black and brown kids know a lot about the ops, but they don't know nothing about themselves. You find out as a parent, you find out from whence you came and let your children know from whence they came. And let them know that their history, though it is a part of their history, did not start when the slave ships winded up on these grand shores. That those slaves came from somewhere, and those slaves were made slaves. They did not come with a package saying we are slaves. That they went and got our politicians, our
doctors,
mathematicians, our
engineers,
doctors, our lawyers,
scientists,
our engineers, our scientists. They went and got the best of us
the best of the best. And Joe, in
and
contrast,
enslaved us and brought us here to do free work and labor for them. So let
that's
them
right.
know you didn't come from as I heard our sitting president say, you didn't come from folks who were criminals and no good doers and all that. You came from because
Joe,
they didn't go get the bad folks. They went
no.
and got the good folk.
But Joe, look how they flip the script, right? Look how they project. Whenever they said their people over here in the beginning, see, we wasn't the first slaves over here. They have a book called White Cargo. I'm name dropping White Cargo.
That's why us in Irish, if you go to Ireland right now, like myself, once again, I'm going to tell you this because listen, you're gonna see it when it happens. I'm actually praying that I am still connected in this capacity to broadcast it. When I wind up in Edinburgh, Scotland, in front of the royals in Edinburgh, and they finally knight me and crown me because I am Scottish. 9% of me is Scottish. When I go back and get my other ancestors that are not black and brown, and they say, sir, listen, I'm telling y'all, because I'm writing every day I get a chance. I am going to be, sir, not only am I going to be Dr. Joe Anderson, I'm going to be Sir Joe Anderson. And they're gonna be like, Sir Joe, Sir Joe.
Not like Sir Charles, but the real Sir.
Sir Joe. Right. So I'm going back. See, if folk who ain't melanated, who got just 1% melanation or 1% Native American can come over here and get all the benefits of that 1%, I'm going to go get my 9% of that Scottish blood. I'm telling you.
What I was saying is, whenever they sent their people over here in the beginning, they sent all of their criminals, rapists, murderers, people with mental health issues. They sent all of them to the Americas. Like, man, y'all go over that. This was their exile.
Hold it.
Was their exile.
I can say that because my oldest son is half European, and I remember his grandfather, God bless his soul, as he went to his ancestors. He always used to tell me, bruh, you do understand that those that left Europe running to America were the ones that we didn't want in Europe in the first place.
Remember that book? Not the book, the movie. The book, the movie, The Gangs of New York. The Gangs of New York. Look at some of these old movies depicting New York and Boston and stuff like that, and how unruly they were and just fighting in the street and in the alley, and they uncouth and all that. Yeah. Look at this stuff and really think about the historical context of what they're, even in Sinners. They had just finished robbing the Irish, the Italian mob, and then the other mob, you know what I'm saying? Out there in Chicago. Look at what they laying out to you in these movies, man.
And you got to pay attention. The vampires, starting with the main vampire, what did he tell you? When he told the girl, she said, "You got some money?" He said, "Oh, darling, do I got that bread? Oh, do I got that bread? Here you go, boo-boo." She was like, "What kind of money is this?" He's like, "The kind of money that, hey, you can't find around these. That's real gold, baby. That's old school."
No, he had the blooms.
Okay, the blooms. He said this come from a long place and a long time ago. Okay, old money. So Pete Game, that's why Irish folks, Scottish folks, they good with black folk.
They call the Irish the first. I hate saying the word. I hate saying it. They call them the first niggas. They were the first words.
Right. Come on.
Not us.
Come on. Right.
And I had that in the college class, Joe. I learned that in the college class.
Come on. I don't know how many. See, I have been blessed in my military travel. I've been to Dublin. I've been to New York used to be New Amsterdam. I've been to Holland. And I'm going to say it again. Any brother who's ever been anywhere overseas and saw these blonde-haired, blue-eyed, but oh my God, you'd be like, wait a minute. I ain't seen no blonde-haired, blue-eyed looking like that in my neck of the woods. It has to be some melanated influence somewhere. Because guess what? But before thick was popular, let me say it again. Before thick was popular, when people used to, hold it. When brothers used to be like, "Oh, girl, you thick," white boys would be like, "You a little chunky." Hold it. Before thick was popular, back in the 80s and the 90s, those who were stationed overseas, they saw a lot of thick Germans, a lot of thick French
but that's
women.
Right,
hold it. A lot of thick English women, a lot of thick European women. And guess what? Especially if you were in Italy, when I went to Italy, I was like, hold it, because I was always a brother who was kind of mesmerized about light, bright, almost white. Let me say it again. If they were light, bright, and almost white, they were getting this chocolate man's attention. But when I was in Italy, I used to be like,
That's what
wait a
that stuff
minute.
said.
I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Who who what mama Cedar came through here that wasn't 100? Because I was like, they gotta be, and then I come to find out that there was I met a guy who was black and Italian, and he was like, I was like, hold up, dog. We were talking, and he was like, man, I'm not American. I was like, what you mean you're not American? I said, yo, one of these GIs came over here and impregned. No, 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 no. I'm not related to you in any shape, form. I learned English, but I'm not American. I was like, dude, you as black as I am. He said, yeah, but I'm not. He said, none of my people from America. He said, we from Sicily. He said, you might need to go down to Sicily and see my people. He said, none of my people was on any slave ship with the. He said, I'm Italian. I was like, whoa. So they black folk who ain't American, who ain't got no connection to the Americas that are black. That's when I come to find out the seeding from the Africans. See, that's what they don't want to tell you about. They don't want to tell you about Pan-Africanism, how Africa seeded the blacks who are Japanese that have no American blood in them. The blacks who are Asiatic and have no American blood in them. See, we got to stop thinking that the reason there's a bunch of black folks all over this place is because they came from the blacks that were here and all of a sudden left here during war times, because that's not true. That's not true. All right, it's 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And Sean done gave me what he had to give me. It is Christmas Eve. Sean, tell them about the Griot podcast.
Man,
Tell them about, I don't even know. I may come on tomorrow and say Merry Christmas. I may not. If you get a link, you get a link. If you don't, you don't. We may be on, we may not. But either way, Sean, say what you got to say, brother. Let's get
man,
out of here.
my most important closing words, man, is I don't care what you believe in, it's not important. Take the time to embrace your loved ones, man. Hopefully, use your device, get some recordings, get some video footage, get some pictures, right? We are our family's archivists. We are our own family's historians. It's on us. The elders have passed now. The torch is in your hands. Cook the meals, invite the folks over, have some laughs, play some games, man. Relax. Play some games. Have a good time. I want that for everybody more than any financial, money, whatever thing. I want them to have joy and to have memories that's gonna last generations on down. That's my hope and my wish, man. And I'll be calling you pretty soon, Joe. About 30 minutes. About 30 minutes.
Call me, my brother. Call me. Listen, that Sean P. Experience. Check him out. He's on YouTube at the Sean P. Experience, at the Griot Podcast. Listen, it's time for me to get up out of here. It is Christmas Eve. I have a young man who is about to turn 18 next year, who will be graduating high school, which is the last of my brew. I started off with my oldest, Alexander, who is 38 years old. Mm. Now, my youngest, Malik, who is 18, to be 18 in May, graduate from high school. He's departing to go study to be an accountant at Louisiana Tech. So I've had Alex, who went to Maryland, had Brandon, who went to the Southern University. I had Shantiana, who is a graduate of LSU and the U, Miami. I have my my ride or die, Keanu Sade, who is a graduate of a double graduate of Louisiana Tech with her bachelor's and her master's. And now my youngest, who will be graduating high school and leaving to go and follow his path and go into accounting at Louisiana Tech also. Family, find somebody that you love. Tell them that you love them. Make memories. Be thankful for what you got. Understand you can't change what happened yesterday. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All you got is right now. Make the most of it. Time for me to get up out of here. So I need y'all to be better today than you were yesterday. And I need you to do something today to bless somebody somewhere. That no matter what you do, there's no earthly way they could ever pay you back. And always remember that there is no secret. What God can do, what he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. But when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. We will be back. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, maybe day after. But we'll be back because we're counting down to the 31st of this month, the New Year's Eve, and the last show until July the 1st of 2026. John's going to call me. That might change. But I will say the following. I love y'all. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. I thank you for those of you who log in, who look at the replay. I am here to tell you not how to think or what to think, but we as a people, we need to begin to think. Have a great Christmas Eve for those who celebrate. Have a great time of family, friends, fellowship, and good food. We'll see you soon. I'm up out of here. Peace.